Yoshev. Okay. Likutei Moharan, Torah Chafei, we are holding by the end. Now, after we have explained the Mahalach, the structure of the Aliyah from the basement all the way to the top of the Sogas of Mati, Velo Mati, of this supernal lights called Tzachtzachos, and we Baruch Hashem have understood that our prime objective and the way to get into this magical tunnel, that is going to lead us, give us a tour of the light fantastic, is by doing the mitzvahs b'simcha. That's the way to do it. Every mitzvah has the body and the neshama. The body is the maisa. The neshama of the mitzvah is the emunah. And when you're doing it with both, then the greater your emunah, the bigger the simcha, the bigger the simcha, the bigger the simcha, the more you start your climbing, and so forth and so on. And now we'll explain how all this maimar is included and alluded to in that which seems, when we were there, seemed to be like a total nonsensical question that the sages of Athens asked Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, and what he answered. And this is what the sages of Athens asked Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya. And Tza'usa de Alma, where is the middle of the world? Zakfa.
No Sivches?
It's toward the end. It's towards the end. V'zeh it's like and it says Zakva etvel. So he put up his fingers. And he said, here.
You recording?
He said here. Says who? How can you prove it? How do we know that what you're saying is right? Amalaha, he told them, Aisu ashle umashkel, bring ropes and measure. And what's alluded in this is as follows. How can you attain the light of Ein Sof? Shu emtza de alma. That's the middle of the world. In the Bria, he says the Kodesh Baruch Hu was memale kol almin v'sovev kol almin. The inside of everything is Ein Sof itself. Outside everything is Ein Sof, and inside everything is Ein Sof. The inside is the life force, the life force that gives life, vitality, the life force of creation. So the more central, the more inner the level, the higher it becomes. There's also another bechina where the outer is the higher. Like in the kelim, you have the lights which are inside the keli, which are smaller because your mind can contain them. And then you have the lights which are outside the keli, the makifin, right? Which are still above. But kichlal v'yin is that the middle of everything, what we're saying now, the middle, emtzeusa de alma, is or Ein Sof. So where is it? This is what they asked them. Because it says, Shu emtza de alma, why is it? Shemimenu hakol shavim cheres v'shefel. It is the middle of the world, the core, that brings about, that bestows, that provides life and bounty to all the oilers. That's why it's called the middle of the world, because that's the inner life of everything. So that's called the middle of existence, the middle of the world. Like they said, the heart is the middle of the body. It's not exactly the middle of the body. Yeah, but since everything depends on the heart, so it's called the middle of the body. That's the, when you look at it, it's the core of the matter. That's the nub. The nub of everything is, that's the middle. Zakva Etzbata. He put his fingers up. Zeh B'chinas Brachas. He said, holding up the hands. Vayisa Aaron es yodo v'yvarchem, right? Aaron lifted up his fingers, his hands. This is brachas that, they come from the in of Yadayim. B'chinas, as we says, Vayisa Aaron es yodo v'yvarchem. That Aaron lifted his hands and he blessed them. Because, as we said, the brachas is something that comes from the hands. What he meant to tell them as follows. Shalidei brachas. It is through the brachas, it is through the blessing that comes from the yadayim, that a person is zoicha, to seichel and moichin. Because what is the ikar bracha? Ikar bracha is the seichel. So it is through the bracha that you're zoicha to the seichel. And then the seichel chases, to attain or Ein Sof. That's the nature of the seichel. The intellect wants to acquire. It wants to move ahead. Umevatchin hamoichin b'keser. The moichin, the intellect, bangs against the fence, the outer fence, the outer boundary, which is the thing that holds back the seichel and harnesses it and prevents it from, going haywire. And that makes those spiritual chambers which are kelim to asagas elokus. And this makes chambers to the light of Ein Sof, and this is how a person can be zoicha to get a glimpse out of the corner of his eye. Getting and not getting. Of or Ein Sof. Mate velo mati. You get it, you don't get it. You arrive and you don't arrive. Amrulei. So the sages of Athens said to him, Mi yemo. Mi yemo, on one hand, says who? Okay? But there's also something that is called Heichale Atmurais. Heichale Atmurais, we learned in the Bura Emunah, Dafka yesterday, that there is a Metzias in Olam Haba, which is called Olam Hatoyu. It's Olam Hatoyu. That things are flipped over. This is the place of the Klippas. What do the Klippas do? Everybody wants good. But everybody calls something else good. That's what the Navi says. Woe to those who call the bad good and the good bad. They called robbing people good because I make money. They call pleasure good. Somebody has to pay for it. They call, the letting go of my nerves because I had a bad day, or my family. I call it good because it feels good to me. But you're doing damage. Oh, woe to those who says. So this is mi yemo. Mi uzeh sheichnoes bechale atmuros. In these chambers of exchanges. That talks about confusion when you don't know if you're up or down. Lemkoma klipos. Who is the scuba diver that is going to dip into the place of the kelipot, into the place of defilement, la'alois misham kedusha, to elevate the kedusha from there, b'fchinas k'teres. The k'teres, the incense, that's the thing that elevates the nitzos the kedusha from the klipot, as we know. Shaladei aliyoso yisal lebrachas kana. You have to elevate the holy sparks from the klipot in order to get the brachas to come down, because it is by lifting the malchus out of the klipot. The malchus was afterwards will go and wake up all the oilamis to avodas Hashem, and this is how bracha comes to all the oilamis, until a person is going to get the light of Ein Sof. But first of all, you have to get the malchus. The malchus is said by the malchus raglei yordos mavis. The malchus, the legs of the malchus, throughout the week are dipped in this world, dipped in the mud. Why is the malchus is in the mud? Malchus is in the mud in order to elevate, the holy sparks that are lost there. So it says, who's going to go? How can you go into that place? Mi yemar, when they tell them mi yemar, the shon tmuro, which was exchange. Ahemir goy beloy elokim. That my nation exchanged me for a false god. He says, Hebemiruni, with God which isn't a god. Hashem said, and I'm gonna switch them from a goy which is nishkan goy b'chlal. Whatever tmuro is ahemir. You're exchanging something for something else. You're sailing Manhattan to the white man for trinkets of glass, from a few glass beads. That's what the Indians did, great businessmen that they were. It's the shon tmura. Tmura is you give something and you get something in exchange. So tmura is exchange. Who will get into that chambers of exchange? Shenemari im hamer yamirenu. If they, when you had a behema, every 10th behema is a bechor. So there's a halacha that what happens if you say about the 9th, you count that it's the 10th, and then the 10th you count it's the 10th, and the 11th is the 10th. Or if you take a behema that you are makdish to korban and you exchange it for another behema. So it depends, the various, but the basic thing is, if you try to exchange it, they both become Kodesh. In other words, the new one is also Kodesh, but the other one doesn't lose the Kedusha that you already, so it says, if you try to exchange it, the Lashon that the Torah uses in Vayikra, im hamer yamirenu, if he would try to exchange it. Because the klippers, what they do is, the coconut shell, where is the ace, where is the queen, where is the, they exchange good and bad, and that's what they call cholet morais. They call the halls of exchanges. Heshiv lehem aisu ashle v'moshcha, bring ropes and measure. I know what he told them is, you guys got it all wrong. You don't have to go to the Chala tomorrow to get the Kedusha from up there. Iker Aliyas Kedusha, the main elevation of the Kedusha, Aladei Simcha. The Simcha does that. The Simcha is a magnet. The Simcha is a magnet for those in Tzosas the Kedusha. I remember days of yore. People loved Chabad. People didn't know anything about Charedim. All the Haredi world looked like something which is so outdated that if they flip their hands too hard, the dust will come out. But people love Chabad. Why?
It's open.
Because they made you feel great, because they were besimcha. They were besimcha. The simcha is a magnet for the Tzeitzes the Kedusha. You go to a train station, suddenly they come with a van, and they got this trance music, na 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 ma na ma na ma. So everybody laughs to them, but everybody becomes happy, you know. Yeah. You say, I'm never do it because this is insane, whatever it is. But in the meantime, you know,
little life to your step.
Yeah, it gives it. He says you don't have to go in Charat Murais. You don't have to send a commando unit behind the enemy lines. Because the Shekhinah is the root of Simcha. The Shekhinah is the main cause of Simcha of Am Yisrael.
Isn't the opposite of Simcha is the root of the Shekhinah?
What?
The Simcha is the Shekhinah, is the essence of the Shekhinah.
Yeah, the Shekhinah is the Simcha of Am Yisrael. Is the Simcha of Am Yisrael. And the Klippas in depression and sadness overtake it. That means the Shekhinah B'Galus. And the Kedusha of the Shekhinah is embedded in the deed of the mitzvah. That's why they go and Chabad, they say, you want to put on film, you want to go, it's just like, because the Maisa mitzvahs, this is the Maisa, over there is the Kedusha of Shekhinah. And when you're doing the mitzvahs b'simcha, the Klippas, you know, are like, how did the Witch of the West say? I'm melting! They just recall tuma ke'oshon tichla. Just like, it's like smoke. They just evaporate. It happens automatically. And the Shekhinah elevates from the Klippas automatically. You don't need to dive in there. You don't have to put a scuba diving gear. You don't have to do any of that stuff. In the future, and Am Yisrael will come out of the Golus, b'simcha, as it is said, Kmo shekosuv, ki b'simcha setzeil. With simcha, so it's not just, listen, you know, when you're going to go out, you're going to be happy. That's not what it's saying. He says, ki b'simcha tetzeil. Simcha is the thing that's going to get you out of the Golus. Ki b'simcha tetzeil. That will annihilate the klippas completely, because the joy will be so immense that will just annihilate them. V'zei aisu ashle, bring ropes. Hainu, he told them, the sages of Athens, which represents the Tumah. He says, Hainu al yedechem v'al kochachem izbatel ha'klipos. You will make it happen. I mean, whether you like it or not, you know, you'll be spitting blood and cursing, and you'll bring. You're going to be bringing Am Yisrael from the Golos. And it came Ashley. Am Yisrael is called Ashley, in other words, ropes. You know, the rope of his range, of his property, is Am Yisrael is called, you know, the area that belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Is Chevel Nachalosai. You know, the county of his property. So Chevel is talking about that Chevel, Eisli, that Mashkul, that Chevel, with that part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Shechina, says that Eisli, you are going to be bringing. You, the Klippas, you, the Tumah, you're going to be bringing back. You know, spitting, cursing, kicking, and screaming, but you're going to be the one bringing it. It said about the Goyim, they are going to be bringing your brothers, Bnei Yisrael. Each and every Goy, they will participate in bringing Beis Yisrael from the Golos. Even
Goy? Is it Goy?
the Goyim.
The Goy are going to bring the...
The Goy are going to they will even bring those that were lost among the Goyim.
But you see it already today. Pushing very pro...
You see it already today, and you'll see it more and more and more. Al de ribuya simcha shia be'esahos. It'll be such simcha that Kmo shekosuv az yomu v'goyim yigdil Hashem l'asas imela. then the Goyim will say, wow, check out what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did with these guys. Whoa. Unbelievable. Hayinu samechim. In other words, because Am Yisrael will have an unbelievable simcha in the Goyim. But their simcha is batlu ha-klipos, and it is through the simcha that all the klipos will be annihilated. As it says about David HaMelech, that David HaMelech finished off Moav. It was time, for debugging of the program. This, take it out. So what it says, he measured them with a rope, laying them down on the ground. What he did was he put out a rope of the people of Moab on the ground, and he measured 2 measurements of ropes. One of them, to kill, and another measurement, he put them like one after the other. One measurement to kill, one measurement to become slaves to him. So this is what David HaMelech did. No politically correct by David HaMelech. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said, when the Mashiach will come, no democracy. No. I think it's no I think, no I schmink. Nothing. This is it. So Medida, so we're talking about measuring with a rope, you're talking about the annihilation of the klipos. Zay mashchu means measure. This is the measuring that will annihilate the klipos the very same way that in the future the klipos will be annihilated mimela through the immensity of the simcha that will exist at that time. And then Israel will come out of the Golus begashmis. Which they'll come out, physically they'll come here and they'll begoof. And they will come by themselves, they'll come out of the Goyim. You don't have to sink in there now. The same thing now. When you do the mitzvahs b'simcha, it is through the kedusha, while you're doing the mitzvah b'simcha, the kedusha comes up all on its own. It comes up all automatically. You don't have to go, no need, Brezhnev, no need. We benefit from the halls of exchanges. Because the klipos themselves must give back the kedusha. They must give it the kedusha, and all the nitzas of kedusha that are locked in them, they have to give back, and then the simcha simply kills them off. I remember, with this we Baruch Hashem finished Torah Chavdalet. I just wanted to tell you that when my son Binyamin, who is today a 26-year-old Hulk, was 6 years old, Rabbeinu said, bring me your children before the age of 7. And he says, and I guarantee that they get into the chuppah with a clean shirt, which means kedusha sabris, they'll be clean. And I remember, I had a radio show for 4.5 years, and I got phone calls from a woman that called me, and she said she was from one of the yeshuvim in the shalom. To have Rav Mendelssohn in the tape is a little bit better than what
יהודים יקרים, טוב לראות אתכם, איזה יופי, הרב קונטמן, שובי, אלי, my brother.
So what happened?
You understand?
That's right. So what happened was at that particular time, we went to Uman. He was 6 years old, and as we came, at that time, the schlepping and the horrible buses.
From the States.
From the States. The horrible buses. It was unbelievable. So we went to Prague. It was a magical visit. Me and my 6-year-old. It was unbelievable. Then we come to Uman, and as we come out of the customs, comes this blonde goy. No. Comes this blonde goy with his face was shining with happiness. He says, "Can I carry your suitcases?" I said, "Sure." So he says, "Here, I carry suitcases and a few others." and they took us to a bus. It was the fanciest tour bus you can think of. So I said, what is this? So they say that this is a cult, a group of Christians from Germany, Finland, Denmark, whatever it is, that believe in the Nevuah that the Goyim are going to be bringing the Yidden to Am Yisrael. And he says, it's my privilege to carry your suitcases for you. And you should have seen the simcha on his face. You should have seen that.
You think he's going to get come to Eretz Yisrael?
No.
Helping the Yidden.
No, he was helping. He was his tachlis. He reached his tachlis. Yeah. There's no greater happiness than getting to your tachlis.
That was his.
They want Mashiach to come and then to go.
I don't care what they want. All I'm telling you is that they were helping you make aliyah. They were doing all kinds of. They were not.
Came with you to Uman also? No.
What?
They
drove us to Uman. They drove us to Uman.
Went scared like, what? They're gonna kidnap us?
No, forget about it. They drove us to Uman, and then they played. And then we have to just stop.